This is Stella, and just a short video I want to make about how you're going to contradict your humanness, the conditioned humanness during your awakening process and in the final phase of integration and embodiment. So you have your soul's truth, but you have your conditioned humanness, which is a sub-personality or many sub-personalities, because we have many, because we've been fragmented so many times over, the 26,000 years. And so we're clearing all that, purging all that. And then we have the spiritual part of us, which is full of dogma, full of this, full of that. So, we're going to fail. I mean, those part of us will fail us, fail our soul. So basically, it is not about going back, because a lot of times you're going to feel like very discouraged and you're losing faith in self while you are doing the integration and embodiment process. And your soul has its truth, your soul, whatever the truth is for your soul for this incarnation. And so if you came here for full self-liberation, meaning you no longer seek relief like most of the people, and they seek relief through sex, food, addictions, alcohol, drugs, substances, whatever, it doesn't matter. Even being a spiritual junkie, that is an addiction too, in that sense. So before you can really fully step into your full power and your inner power, that cannot be done through the mind. That is not working. It's gonna be an inflated one, and it will be blown to pieces the moment you're gonna be triggered again. And if you did not clear the astral realm, the astral part of you, which you had done and created and put in there, so basically that part is the subconscious part, which is running programs, old programs. So basically you're going to have to clear your fair share of astral realm in that sense. And so first you clear the mental, then you're going to do the astral, which is the subconscious part. And then, all that will be clear in the physical, because all those things has to be done first. And so first I cleared and I dismantled in the mental realm all that. That's when I was writing all those things for years. And then I had to touch the primal fear, which was really not an easy thing. But I could not have done it before I was in, let's say, in the heightened state, even in the mental. It's like took it to a plateau. And so I took it to a plateau in the mental realm. I experienced, I would say, like really euphoria for weeks. And then, you're gonna meet someone or somebody will trigger you. It's gonna be a meeting. Many people call it the twin flame meeting. Well, maybe it is, maybe it is not. It's your first love, it's your first thing, it's the first thing that you ever left yourself behind for. So it's gonna be a very magnetic thing. And if he or she has done the job right, she or he will be triggering you to an extreme, because you had been living through many lifetimes together. You had been husbands and wives and enemies and friends and whatever, it doesn't matter. So basically, if she or he had done the job right, eventually you're going to touch the primal fear. You're going to meet yourself, your reptilian self, which is like really in your reptilian brain. So you're going to be clearing that. That's when your Kundalini will start up. Traumatic events can start up Kundalini awakening, and that is a fact. And so basically, many people have this misconception that your twin flame will be your, forever we will be happy couple and stuff like that. Not really. You know, probably you're gonna really play out each other's psychosis through each other. You're gonna free yourself from the stupid fairy tale dream, because that is a human concept, that you need another to be happy. No, you don't. And basically we will become self-sovereign. We will become this whole within ourselves. It's no longer the human concept, which is a conditioned belief system, that you need another person to be whole. No, you are whole by yourself. You know, you're complete. You do not need another. There will be no such things. There might be things that you might spend good times together, and then you're gonna go in separate ways again. And it's like, you know, there is no such thing as being glued together with anyone, because you are no longer attached. So you are not in lack consciousness. You are in complete infinite consciousness. So your happiness does no longer depend on anybody being with you or not being with you, or anything like that. So when you brought up all the crap and you cleared the fairy tale bullshit of the conditioned human, a small human self, which is certain subpersonalities infested with the virus of believing that he or she needs another to complete herself. So basically you kill the fairy tale for each other. So you are being freed through another, through each other, and it's gonna be a great service to self and to another through releasing that. So you're gonna love each other in a sense, but that does not mean you have to be with each other, and glued together like most humans, because they believe that they need somebody else. So it's really this great freedom. It's great freedom. So the conditioned self, the conditioned human, is always in contradiction with the soul's truth. Which is your soul's truth is, it's really basically you have to anchor this into your humanness, into your human self. It's not that the soul has to be catching up with the human. No, the human has to catch up with the soul's truth, with aligning with the soul's truth. So no longer the mind leads, but really your multidimensional self leads. Really, it's this beingness you become. The funny thing is that I used to have those strong, very vivid dreams, and my intuitions were coming through dreams. But nowadays it's I don't remember my dreams that well anymore, because it's when you are in the embodiment process, and it's gonna be it. You're gonna embody it. It is an instant knowing within. You will not know, because before I used dreams and dream states to get my answers. But the funny thing is, like, now I understand, why, like, for example, in the old days, I was watching Osho's videos and something, and how he connected to the answers, to the soul's answers in that very instant moment. He got, that's why. So you basically are within the self, you are present in the self, you are present in your godhood, and this is how it is. Like, for example, the other day, I asked the question, so what do I have to let go of in order to fully and completely align with the frequency of omnipotence, which is who we are. That is our essence. And basically it's occupying, embodying your godhoodness, because that it is. It's like permanently connecting to self and instantly knowing. And you will not be thinking, you will not be searching. You just ask the question, and then your answer comes. And it came really like a few seconds later. It was just relaxing, not searching with the mind for anything, for any answers in that sense, but allowing your God self, your goddess self or God self, really with its instant knowing, in a 2 seconds, your truth, what it is. And so basically the answers right away came, right away. And it's just an instant knowing. It's you feel and sense your knowing that, and that knowing is like you just know it is that clear truth. That is your answer. That is your instant knowing. So then you will not need, and this is so funny because I thought, like first time I thought like everybody else, like immediately the mind search for something what's not right? So basically it's like, okay, what happened to my dreams? What happened to my intuition? What happened to my connection? What? Everything is changing. Everything is shifting. And everything becomes so much more. It's just the mind that perceives it as a problem because change is the only thing that is constant. So basically, anytime something is changing within you and changing in the processing and in the embodiment and in the integration process, the mind has the tendency to immediately perceive it as a problem. Immediately perceive it that something is wrong, something is not right, because it is different now than it used to be. So we, in that sense, it's not really an outside change, because now in the integration and embodiment part, it's not about that it externally something changes, but everything changes within constantly. Upgrading, updating, recalibrating, updating, upgrading, and this is always the same process, going higher and higher and higher. And in the integration and embodiment process, there are just so many things that will change. And the mind has the tendency to really, really kind of wanting to pull you back or want to go back to the past. It's like so attached to how things used to be that it immediately wants to go back, and you want to recreate certain states, you want to recreate certain ways instead of letting it go and just know that all is well in every now moment because you have upgraded. And it's like a built-in sensory perception, which we all have, but before we could not really listen to it so well, or we have seen it, we had been shown, but we did not follow it up with the aligned action, with the inspired action, because it was inspired by intuition, but we did not trust our intuition and with our human self. It's so funny because basically it's this self-destruction is built in. It's like you can go both ways. You can really go higher or you can self-destruct. And at certain times, all those mental spheres get stronger as the collective releasing all kinds of bullshit. And us who are really purely, clearly sensing all kinds of energies, we might mistake all that which is coming up from the collective, being released from the collective, and then you're sensing more because you're not, you are in self, but at the same time you sense everything, group consciousness, everything, tribal consciousness. You have, your sensory perception is so wide and open that it's a lot of those things. So you have to know that it's just, the mental sphere is picking up on certain things, certain vibrations, certain frequencies energetically. And that does not mean that you have to act on it or you have to whatever, because it's anytime you are in the past or you're in the future, you're not in soul alignment, or anytime you are in scarcity, or anytime you are in fear, or anytime you're in confusion altogether, no matter what kind of confusion you are, when you feel like overwhelmed or anything like that, that is not soul speaking. That is when the mental sphere, the mental mind, the mental, perceiver or receiver is so busy with tuning into a different radio station, which is not your own radio station, but it's, let's say, the group radio station, the consciousness, the collective consciousness. And so you are picking up on many things and really know how to deal with this thing, because multidimensionality, that is our, that is our future. And it's our present as well, because many of us already experiencing these things, while the rest of the population doesn't fucking know anything. And they're still sleeping. But we are waking up in waves. We are waking up in certain groups. And and of course, you have your own phase, which you're going through. And then it's like, because your soul is nothing else but love and peace and wonderful and curiosity and expansion and continuous evolution and knowing that all is well. And the mind is the one who always tells you that, oh, no, that's the scarcity one, attached to scarcity, attached to, the past, the echoes of the past, let me put it this way. So this is how you are going to really, you have to, in that sense, separate the conditioned human self in you, which is the subpersonality group, and then the spiritual one, who is always like, okay, the over rose colored glasses, all this, whatever. So basically you learn that not everybody has good intentions. You're going to sense energies, and then you're not going to investigate any further. You just don't comply, and you do not interact with energies like that. You will just know it is not for you. And my previous video, which was about the frequency and timeline of omnipotence, I talked about that. So not joining in on that timeline, which is a group or a tribal timeline or an individual timeline of another. And you're just going to blast them and say, oh, that's great for you. It works. Very good. Thank you. Beautiful. All that stuff. So you just know that just because that is their truth, and you already see that it's not yours. It's not your truth. So you're not going to join in on them and start doubting yourself that, oh, they know something more than I do. No. They know exactly what they need to know for themselves, and you just need to know and be certain and true to your own knowing in every now moment. And if you sense that that is not your truth, which your body will show you and tell you immediately, because you will get irritated by it, you will get like, okay, well, whatever, and a lot of times we have to visit those things, because even during the integration process, we visit that old stuff. Why? Because in the mental sphere, we solve them, we know it by the information we received. So we channeled our higher selves. So we wrote down all of our truth, the truth of our soul. While you are in the integration and embodiment process, while you are in the astral realm, which is harder to dismantle, I'm telling you, than the mental one. The mental one was easy breezy in comparison to this one. Of course, it had also its difficulties, but you all has to align all the three worlds within you, basically the mental sphere, the astral realm, and then, have that in the physical. And funny thing, just 2 or 3 days ago, I have dreamed that I have this helper, assistant, someone who assists me, and I've seen this man many times, and he's an older man, and I've seen him with a white lion, and then he was bringing me certain truths, and all that stuff. But and it's a good feeling. It's a very relaxed, peaceful, loving kind of feeling with him. Very wise, very peaceful, very. It's just a wonderful feeling. And then he was wiping away some nail polish from my nails, and it got this clear thing with a little sparkly stuff, because I have those things on my nail, and those little sparkly stuff stayed only, and it was wiped away. And I thought, what could that be? Because the big toe, and it was about the big toes, and the big toes really represents our brain and the hemispheres and all that. Plus, it's the etheric. So it like, that all your 5 fingers and all your 5 toes has all those like air, the elements, the fire, all that stuff. And then, the big toes represent, it's symbolic, the etheric world. It's all that which is ether. And so, and it's funny because it is directly related to balance and direction and destiny. So something has been cleared. And recently I was listening to certain activation codes, which I knew that I had to retire because I was dreaming about it. And Sherry, my friend, released an audio, and it was about retiring the Bodhisattva. And the Bodhisattva is, we no longer hold ourselves back and delay our enlightenment or embodiment process for the sake of another, because we feel more compassion, or let's say pity, because that is not compassion, but whenever we feel pity for another, because whatever they are going through, we are getting and leaving ourselves behind, because then you step into the savior role. Then all of a sudden you want to save other people instead of, just keep going on your path, and you don't have to interact or compromise or comply with any other beings in that sense. And this is the misconception of this thing, because this world is an upside down world. So whatever that they spewing at you that is true, it is the exact opposite. So, but if you don't know that, then you keep complying with the distorted and conditioned small human experience game, and with the human experience, and with the conditioned human, which also is one of your sub-personalities that been created while you were unconscious and while you were in amnesia. Let me put it this way. So when you really start really bringing and anchoring down your soul's truth and your godhoodness, and you become this God in that sense. I mean, you remember who you are in that sense. And some people will misunderstand this, because it's not about religion or anything like that. It's basically, I would say, that they call God is a man and a woman who is completely connected to her higher self, to her soul's truth, and being able to live and embody that truth, embody that so-called policy, embody that and living that, walking that truth in its essence, in her essence, in his essence, it doesn't matter. And so basically, this is how we become so powerful in this physical world that we no longer are working or living our life according to other people's wishes, being or trying to please anybody, trying to, I don't know, just fit in. You no longer want to fit in. You no longer put any effort into keeping up appearances. Let me put it this way. So you completely eliminated pretentious beingness out of yourself, because all those layers and layers of conditioned selves, and I would put it like sub-personalities, are conditioned into fitting into this world, which you don't have to ever, but it is fueled by fear. It is fueled by past fear, which are coming alive while you are cleansing, while you're purging, while you're burning away all the old crap in you, in that sense. So you will actually burn away all the subpersonalities, the conditioned subpersonalities, which were tied to the echoes of fear from past lifetimes. And I've experienced those things, and they come in so strong that you sometimes feel very overwhelmed by those subpersonality traits, and you know, it's like this really conditioned self, a part of yourself which is not cleansed, which is not completely purified yet, which is not completely free of all those pretentious, fearful, scarcity, crap, lack, whatever it is, because it's all combined, it's all an illusion. But until you have cleansed all of yourself, in that sense, all of your fragments and fragmented soul fragments from all the conditioned crap, and it's like, you know, you have to see through it, basically, and you have to let it all go. And, you know, until you have any fear in you, you cannot step into your grandeur, you cannot step into your godhood, you cannot step into your power, basically, which is your complete and whole power. It's your godhood, it's your embodied God, and who is walking in the truth of his or her own soul's truth, you know. So basically, you no longer will be yanked by the conditioned mind or by your subpersonalities and all those stuff. But basically, it's the complete purification of your soul fragments, subpersonalities, which is another word for it. And then you're not going to be, you know, basically they cannot, nobody in your surroundings, nobody or no person or no situation can affect you to a degree to leave your soul's truth. And you no longer will be yanked. You're just going to sit and be solidified completely in your soul's truth, which is your godhood. That is it, which is the godhood empowered, which is, and it's all within. It's your, you know, you basically bring your higher self into your body. And this is when you're going to be able to be so present in self. And you know, the funny thing, when people were saying, be present, and they thought about, most of us were experiencing and interpreting that on that level of consciousness, like, okay, be in the moment and be in that, you know, and go with that flow. No. It's all about you being present in self. Be present and connected all the way to your God self, your higher self. And being present in self is, I feel, I sense that whatever I'm experiencing at this moment is perfectly okay. However, is this my truth? Is this what I want to live in? Is this what I want to be in on a daily basis? And you say, no, so then you walk away. And then you just move away, or you just whatever. So you are creating mind, body, and soul alignment. So meaning mind, body, and in the physical, you following up with the aligned action. So it's like, for example, I've met somebody, we had a great conversation, but you know, at the time, you know how he has also some spiritual blind spots, which is fine. It's none of my business, right? And what I felt is eventually that my body started feeling that the vibration that he was emitting was not really compatible with my beingness. So basically, you stop immersing yourself into situations or listening to people's bullshit, which is not aligned with your own knowing and with consciousness. So then you just say, I'm not going to immerse myself into those things, because why to do that? Why to, I don't have to prove anybody anything. I don't even have to prove anything to myself, how tough I am, because this is how I was a masochist, back then. And I'm coming from that. And so we were like this tough iron women, and iron men, in the iron wall, and all that concept. So I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I don't want to save them. I don't want to change their mind. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they think of me. I don't care what they think in general, because that is their truth, that is their world, that is their timeline, whatever they're creating for themselves. And, I don't need to agree or disagree. I just let it be. But I also know what feels right, because my body was sensing and picking up on certain frequencies and said, I don't want to be in this frequency. Okay, let's go away. Let's move away. So the next time I did not go to the same part on the beach. I did not go whatever, because I felt like that would not be beneficial to me. I don't want to listen to his bullshit. I don't want to be forced into anything. And he was like very overwhelming in that sense. He wanted to push me into certain things. And just like, you just say, I don't have to interact and I don't have to comply with any of those certain people or frequencies or anything like that. So I no longer put myself into situations. I just walk away. So I made it a new habit and a new creation for me, which is not beneficial to my well-being in that sense, because my body is feeling and sensing certain frequencies that is not aligned with my soul's truth at this moment, which is a certain quality of frequency, which is in me. And then so I just walk away, ignore and walk away, sense and drop. So you make and create this new habit in that sense, meaning being more present in self, being more present in your body, which can immediately sense something which is not beneficial to your well-being, no matter what it is. It's mental, spiritual, or emotional, or whatever it is, and you just let it be. And you just release it. So you no longer rape yourself in that sense, because that little human self, because the traditional spirituality taught you, you have to be kind to everybody. You have to, be kind and then walk away. Be kind and walk away. But you don't have to immerse yourself. So if you're in a situation, a life situation, which you feel that is not beneficial for your mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, and because if it is not beneficial, then eventually it's not going to be beneficial to your physical well-being. So what you have to do is you just follow it up with the aligned action. It's aligned action according being present in the body. So be present, but be present in self. It's not about and whatever that comes, I'm just gonna keep immersing myself in shit like that. No, you make it easy for you. It's just, make it easy for you. And then just walk away. It's the same thing as listen, okay, so just make it a really outrageous comparison, or just a story like, for example, if you're in a marriage, let's say, which you get beaten up every day, you don't want to prove that you are strong and keep being in that shit. So basically you get out, right? So it's like being present in self, because a lot of those shit comes up while you are awakening, like you were so conditioned to, in past lifetimes, to being in certain situations, and then you kept pushing yourself into it, or because at that time you could not get out, but this time you can. So you don't have to really be a subject to anything which is not good for you, which is so simple actually. But while you are in the process of awakening, at the same time, unfortunately or fortunately, it doesn't matter. Basically, you're gonna be replaying all this crap because the morphogenetic field contains all those past conditional self, being that in that kind of way. No. And so this is all about that, releasing it all. So you no longer endure. You don't have to endure anything. You don't have to endure anything. You understand, you're present, you say, that's his business, this is my business. And what I do is make it easy for myself. I understand what it is teaching me. I understand what my body is telling me, because many of us were so out of our body. Like many of us empaths were so out of our body that we did not know what's really good for us. We were so empathic towards other people that we lacked empathy towards ourselves. So we were like so much in them. And like one time when I had some questions, and then immediately I got the answer, stop thinking with other people's heads and stop feeling compassion, brackets, pity for them, because they all deserve whatever they get. They all deserve, and it's not about deserving, but it's about evolution and about learning, and it's about allowing them to experience in order to grow spiritually and to know what that means for them. What is that teaching them for, to go and move forward on their spiritual path, meaning growing spiritually and learning and coming home to themselves. So we don't have to join in on their timeline. We just allow them to have that timeline, and the highest compassion is to allow someone to experience their own learning curves. That is the highest compassion. But most people misunderstand this because they're still on the level of consciousness, which they believe that they have to feel sorry for them, that they have to start trying to save them, that they're trying to all that stuff. And it doesn't matter what the world does, because a lot of us, like in the beginning, I had this thing. I knew, my soul knew that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't care anymore. But this conditioned subpersonality, which I had not cleared yet at the time, was like constantly pulling me back into the same old habit of wanting to save somebody, wanting to teach somebody, wanting to whatever. And I had those individual pet projects, like, okay, you had a conversation with somebody, and then you were like telling them what what all that situation is teaching them. But, my words were just coming off of them like, oil from it does not mix, because they're not ready to receive the message. This is one thing. Plus, I was giving these free advices, out, which was not welcomed. Nobody asked for it. And then, I felt exhausted. I felt tired. All that. So recently, I really, like I had this dream with releasing and retiring the bodhisattva. So I'm releasing the bodhisattva because I no longer want to renew, because that is a vow that we took, which is beyond time and space. So if you took that vow, and many of us and most of us had done that in the past because we were Buddhist, or we were this, we were that, and we believed that we will not evolve and go into full and infinite enlightenment and consciousness until every soul is awakened. How stupid was that? So limited. But at the time, we believed that with full heart, that this is what we should do. So that is why I'm telling you, traditional spirituality is a hindrance to your awakening process. But we all go through that because the morphogenetic field, in our own fair share of crap that we created, has to be cleared. So basically, you're going to go through it no matter what, because this is just an information. It's just for you to better understand what's happening or what's going to happen in your life or whatever. So Who knows when you're going to watch this video? Maybe you're going to watch it when you are not completely clear on the full understanding of it, and it will help you to kind of dismantle and understand and take it apart in order to really look at all the pieces. And this is the only thing why we share in that sense, because just to understand the process. It's not about what you should do or what you should not do. There is never like that, because you have to follow your own path. You have to follow and not follow anybody else's path, because that is not your path. We have our own unique, no matter how many similarities, we're going to have, we have different path ahead, because each and every one of us have to learn something else. We have to evolve in certain part, and then of course we all go through all of the parts, but maybe not at the same lifetime or in the same lifetime, maybe in another lifetime, maybe so it's just the understanding is shedding light into the darkness. The shedding light into darkness means darkness which was not understood and you were not in full consciousness. Darkness was your own ignorance. Darkness was your own limited consciousness. And so at this time we are here to really shed the light, the light of understanding, the light of making every part, so leaving no stone unturned, because this is what ascension is all about. This is what we know. This is what we come to know. This is what we come to remember, and to really allow ourselves to really fully understand the inner landscape of our world, our brain, our mind, our soul, our everything, our emotional body, our pain body, and all that other stuff. So we are here really clearing and cleansing of all of it. All of it. So it's a complete self-purificational system, which is when somebody is ready for full awakening, it's going to happen naturally, because then you will not stop until you really, really brought yourself back, all of you, all parts of you. So it becomes this soul integration, the soul fragments, cleansing, purifications, and really, 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 really bringing all of you back together, but completely purified, completely understood, known, and then bringing all of you back and really melting into your God self, meaning the God self can come in, because all of the other parts are no longer conditioned, distorted, and so it's all clean, all clean, all clean. And this is when you can really, really merge all of that, which is you, all parts. But all those soul fragments were created through past life traumas, this life traumas, or whatever it is. But it is really, really, really like we're clearing the table. We're really, really clearing the table now for ourselves. And this is what we are responsible for. We are not responsible for anybody else. And that is a lie. That is an old traditional spirituality, thinking in the savior role. And this is not why we are. The 144,000 came back for themselves. And this is what they're going to realize. And this is the mystery of the 144,000. We all came back for ourselves. We're no longer here for anybody else, because we have tried that. We played that role. We had been many times teachers. We had been many times leaders. We tried to whatever. But now we are repainting it, again. It's so funny because I've seen a movie like Repainted Again, Van Gogh. And it's so funny because basically whatever I was doing like a year ago, and whatever I had to go through a year ago, and and during last summer and winter and all that stuff, I'm repainting it. But I had to go through it because I had to touch the primal fear. Because to become completely fearless, you have to face the primal fear. Because this is how you will be understanding of which part you have to, basically it's like the inferno, like Dante's Inferno. It's like you're dipping yourself into your own hell to bring the last piece of you back, because that piece it would lurk underneath if you did not dissolve that fear. So it's like you're dipping yourself down into your own hell, because that's how it felt, to bring the last piece of me back and to really cleanse that part of me. And so it's not an easy thing. If I had not done the plateau in the mental sphere, and if I did not have lived through the euphoria, because this was the only thing that I could really grab onto like a straw while I was deep down in that fear. And I was like thinking, where is my consciousness? Where has it disappeared? I remember, I wrote it down. I remember everything, but what happened? But at the time, I had to done that. I had to go down for the last piece of me. And because the whole thing is to bring all of you back, all of your little parts, all of your soul fragmentations, cured, purified, released, dissolving, all of it. And it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. But I'm telling you, your awakening will happen naturally. Don't force it, although we all go through the spiritual junkiism in that sense, but at the same time it serves you and it doesn't, but you would not know if you did not. So basically it does, so all is good. But later on you see all of it, and then you say, well, whatever, it had to happen this way, and it had to happen this way. And how you know it had to happen, like Bashar says? Because it happened this way. It had to happen this way. Because this is what you wanted. You knew what you wanted. So you got exactly what you wanted. But sometimes, our mind has a tendency to say, oh, maybe something is wrong, maybe whatever. No, nothing is wrong. You asked for it. And this is exactly what you got. And this is exactly what you came for. So you're here for self, 144,000. You are here for self, to realize your own godhood, to realize your own, and really bring all of you back together, and to enter into the frequency of omnipotence, to bring all of you back. And it's like in the womb of Lyra, it's like birthing yourself. It is, you are going to resurrect yourself. And in my dream, I've seen that I have tossed my old body aside, and I was bringing my new body in my arms to revive. And so basically, when you are going for resurrection, you're the second coming, the second birthing, whatever, it's going to happen within you, all of it. And then this whole thing is basically, you are going beyond. And actually, when you are going beyond resurrection, you're going for omnipotence. And it's the frequency of omnipotence. So listen to my the frequency or timeline of omnipotence. It's a good video which I made in Greece. So, well, this was it. I thought it's gonna be a short one. No, it became a longer video, but hey, lots of words, but look for the meaning. Whatever resonates with you, it's for you. which does not resonate with you. It's not for you at this time, maybe at a later time. Maybe later you will remember this video and then come back and then you're going to listen and actually you will hear more things out of it than maybe the first time. It happened to me before, and sometimes I listened to certain things and then I went back, listened to them again at a later point, and then all of a sudden I heard 2 sentences or 3 or something which I did not hear the first time whatsoever. I was so out of touch with myself. And so we are coming home. We are coming home to self. This is the whole thing is all about that, to coming home to the true self. And this is basically what it is. This is your awakening process, and then the integration and the embodiment process and all that. So thank you very much for listening, dear souls, and have fun. Try to embrace the process of processing. Remind yourself often. Thank you. Bye.